Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my podcast. We have a very special guest today from Singapore. We have Brandon John of Dezaster. Hi Brandon.
Hi everybody. Hi Channa. How are you?
I'm good. How about you? What's happening with this COVID and everything? How you're coping?
So far okay. I mean, the whole there isn't much of a lockdown right now. I mean, even to begin with, I wouldn't really consider it a lockdown. Like they consider it as they called it circuit breaker.
Right.
So you still can go out of your house and everything, but it's more or less just for essential stuff to buy food and pretty much you still can leave the house actually, but you can't go to like restaurants and eat inside and so on. You have to take it away. So like you still can go to the supermarket and all, it's still open. And then we moved on into phase one, which was where you could go visit your relatives and go to basically just pretty much go to your relative's house. And that lasted for like a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks I think. And then we moved on into what we are right now, which is phase two, which is more or less 85% of it is back to normal, but there's like bars and restaurants and everything, they have to close by 10:30, so it's somewhat like a curfew. So everybody seems to be back to work and everything, at least from my side. So
how about the band side? You guys were able to practice or work together?
No, actually, that was the sucky part. Like we pretty much stay at home, so we haven't seen each other for like 3-4 months, because the last time, even before this whole circuit breaker / lockdown thing happened, the last time we saw each other was probably end January, so we had plans to start writing for the new album and arranging everything, and we were planning it around March, and then circuit breaker happened. So we were kind of stuck, but now we are back together again. We saw each other after when phase two kicked in. Studios were opening up and everything, so we could go to the studio and start working on the new album. And to think that, because being at home most of the time during the circuit breaker, I'd be able to sit at home and play my guitar and come up with new stuff, because like the next album for us, everything is going to be from scratch. Okay, everything is written from scratch, like really start from zero.
Right.
And so I figured, okay, this is a good time to sit at home and work on the stuff. But man, it's so difficult, with everybody else in the house, in my house, working from home. So it's kind of difficult to plug in my guitar and jam around, because you just be a distraction. So honestly, like I think we were in circuit breaker for like 3 months. The whole 3 months, I did nothing, really nothing. And like musically wise, at least, I couldn't do much, and there was no inspirations coming in. It was pretty a bad time for me actually.
Right.
So, and then when phase two kicked in, and we got together we had like one song ready before the circuit breaker started. So we had the one song initially was me and Denise working on it, and we started that in December last year.
Right.
So we basically just got together in phase two, the first jam, just to work on that one song. And it felt good, because like standing in front of a amp, it's like huge, really loud, which I couldn't do for the past 3 months, right? And then I think naturally, when you get the vibrations through your bones and everything, and you start naturally writing new stuff. So right now, at this moment, for the next album, we've got roughly about 4 songs, more or less there. And then we are probably the next jam, we're going to start working on the 5th new song. Yeah. So musically wise, during COVID, nothing.
But I was kind of listening to some of your music recently. Now, your music, the themes in your music is kind of, I think it kind of resonate with these times, right? These chaotic.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we have always, I mean, we were never the type of band to be lyrically about fantasy or, stuff like we want to write about real stuff.
Right.
And then, which we kind of went differently with this song called Dreams of Succubus, which is basically about the female demon god,
Right.
which is she possesses you and she has sex with you and everything. So which is why is whenever I introduce the songs, I always say stuff like, "Oh, this song is about what I used to say is about satanic sex rituals." Yeah. So it was a more darker theme, which I think we are trying to get into more, or rather, I'm trying to get into more lyrically with the next album, because it's gonna be overall the four of us, we want it to be darker, basically. Yeah.
So Brandon, I first saw you. I think I even commented. I posted one of the videos that
Yeah. I
first
saw it.
show that was like early January 2019, and
Mm-hmm.
then of course you guys came and play in Manila.
Yes.
So that's how we got to know. So uh, I think I first heard about Dezaster like late 2018. I think is who's this Sabrina is the one who recommended the band.
Sorry, who?
Sabrina.
Sabrina. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so she said you should check this out, this band, because they're speed metal, they're thrash, so you would like it. Uh,
Yeah.
can you tell me a little bit about your childhood, Brandon, and then your earliest like memories of music at home?
Wow. Um, I cannot remember a point where I first discovered music, because growing up in a family, my family is we're pretty much surrounded by music, like my dad, my mom, and my brother as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of my early childhood getting into rock bands and everything has always been through my family. Like even with my cousins and everything, everybody was into the same kind of music. So like growing up, I mean, my dad's favorite band is Deep Purple and Rainbow. So growing up is always Deep Purple and Rainbow around in the house.
Right.
When we go on like family trips and whatsoever, in the car, it'd be Deep Purple and Rainbow. At home, functions and everything, you would think that, usually you have functions at home, people will be playing like smooth jazz or everything, but no, it was Deep Purple and Rainbow. So yeah, so I think the very first few bands was Deep Purple and Rainbow was because of my dad.
Right.
Then my mom would listen to stuff like Guns N' Roses, and then Metallica, and what else? Yeah, and Iron Maiden, stuff like that. And then the more heavier stuff would come from my brother, which would be more of like the death metal side and the black metal side. So, but it wasn't like every single band they were just like handing me, listen to this, like Metallica was being played by my room. I think my mom bought the CD or something, was the Black album.
Right.
So I was just listening to I didn't really pay much attention to it. But I remember like my brother had a CD rack, and I just randomly took out, I think it was Master of Puppets, and I just put it in Discman and I was listening to it. And it was funny because all I wanted was the heavy stuff. And then the first song was Battery, and he had the slow intro. I didn't know, so I just like, next, this song sucks. I didn't know because it had the slow intro, right? So the next one was Master of Puppets, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And yeah. I mean, but prior to that, I was a huge fan of Black Sabbath. I still am. Every single album, in the Aussie era especially, is my favorite. You can never go wrong with Black Sabbath. So I would say Black Sabbath has been a huge influence in my life. Like really, like even when I was a kid, like my very first band that I joined or formed or whatever, I always had to play at least one Black Sabbath song. Even if it was Paranoid or whatever, but it was still Sabbath. You can never go wrong with Sabbath. So like, yeah, the early few bands, Deep Purple, Rainbow, Black Sabbath, Kiss as well. And Kiss, I got to know Kiss through my brother as well. Because there's this show called Detroit Rock City. Have you seen it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it was showing on HBO, I remember, and my brother was gonna watch it. I had no idea. I remember asking him like, what are you gonna watch? And he was like, Detroit Rock City. I said, what's that about? And then he was just like, it's about Kiss. He didn't say it's like a band or anything. I was like, ew, what the hell? What Kiss? You know, thinking like this small boy. So I watched it with him, and I remember watching it. I was really like, I was just glued to the TV, you know. And of course, I mean, for those of you who've seen it or haven't, go watch it if you haven't. The whole story is just about four kids in school, right? And they're idolizing Kiss, and they want to play in a band like Kiss.
Right.
So they never really showed like the band, you know, most of the stories. And throughout, only towards the end, then the entire band came out to play the song Detroit Rock City. I mean, at the end, when the band came out, just like, wow, you know, and they just fit everything inside, you know, like Gene Simmons spitting blood, fire, you know, and Paul Stanley smashing his guitar, Ace really, you know, his smoking guitar, and P2P, his drums are rising up. So as a kid looking at that, it's just like, wow, you know, it's like a circus, you know. So I was really awed at that. And what are bands first? I also listened to a lot of country rock as well growing up, and that's also because of my dad. My dad listened to that as well.
Right.
In fact, the first few times, I mean, the first time I ever played the guitar was because of my dad. I was sitting down, and my dad just walked up. I think I was like 10 years old. My cereal, watching TV, and then he came out. He said, "You want to play the guitar?" I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, go get the guitar." I said, "Okay." So like, the first riff he ever taught me. I mean, of course, he taught me like A chord and D chord, and then but the first riff he taught me was a Deep Purple riff, was Sail Away.
Right.
So, you know, so that was the first ever riff I ever learned. And the first song I ever learned that my dad taught me was Johnny B. Good, Chuck Berry, and Billy Ray Cyrus, Icky Bricky Heart. Yeah, believe it or not. Yeah, so I grew up playing, like learning this kind of songs, which I think in a way helped over the years because with all this like country and old school rock and roll, there's a lot of swing to it, which helps in, I guess, to me, you know, with the chuggings and everything. It helps a lot. Yeah. And then let's see. Mm, oh right. And then I was through Metallica that I found out about Metallica first before Megadeth.
Right.
Yeah, because I got into Master of Puppets, that few songs, the faster, heavier stuff. And then I put Ride the Lightning in next. And then the same thing, you know, Fire, Fire, the first slow intro as like next. You know, I had no idea. So, and I remember reading like the album, the credits, and I saw his name, D. Mustaine. And I knew, who the hell is this guy, you know?
Right.
Because all I knew was Hetfield, Cliff, Lars, and Kirk Hammett, right? So I was thinking, who the hell is this D. Mustaine? So, like, whatever, I pushed on, and then I picked up Kill 'Em All as well, and that was the name again. And then I think like a year later or something, my brother again, he showed me Holy Wars, the music video. He had the music video. So I was like, when I saw that music video, I was just like, okay, this is the band that I like a lot. And then later on, finding out that the frontman's name is Dave Mustaine, and then it clicked, you know, A.D. Mustaine. So, and then I remember asking my brother, like, is this the guy that used to be Metallica or something like that? And it's like, yeah. And then he had, for some reason, he had a lot of videos. And then he had I think the behind the music or something like that, you know. And then I watched it, and then that's where I found out about the story and everything. But I think what drew me more to the band was the story behind it, you know, about how he fell, and I mean how he got fired, and you know how he picked himself up and everything. I think that was more inspirational than the music to me at that point of time.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I see the shirt there, nice shirt. So like, yeah, I mean, ever since then, I mean, of course, there are other bands that I would find out, you know, through videos, watch. But it's all like, it's funny. I'm sure for like everybody, all links together. Like you will watch a festival video or something like that, and then that's how you find out about other bands. You listen to a compilation. I will buy a compilation just for one song,
Right.
and I'll listen to the rest of it. And the same thing, like how I fell in love with Judas Priest, because at that point in time I only knew one song. I knew Victim of Changes. So I remember going to a DVD shop, and then there was I think it was Live in Japan or something like that. It was the Angel Retribution tour. So I saw the track listing and had Victim of Changes. So I remember begging my mom to buy me the DVD because I just wanted to watch Victim of Changes. And then I remember putting in my DVD player. I just figured like, okay, I'll just watch everything. And then I was just like blown away. And then looking at KK Downing, he's also one of my personal influences. He played the V as well. At the same time, finding out that Mustaine plays the V as well. I knew the V guitar, was something that I wanted to play as well, which is why I have the Floyd Rose in my V, because it was like a 2-in-1. I could be KK Downing, I could be Dave Mustaine, and that was what I had in my mind when I was buying the guitar. I knew I wanted a V, and I wanted to be both of them to get the Floyd. And yeah, Judas Priest was amazing. KK Downing, I love the band, I love the music. What are bands? Let's see. Guns N' Roses is also one of them. My mom loves Guns N' Roses, so growing up listening to a lot of Slash and everything. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, because back in the 90s, it was either Guns N' Roses or Metallica, right? Those were the bands that everybody liked, right?
Exactly. I mean, there are just too many bands for me to like sit down and really like list out. Like,
yeah.
Like right now, I'm just saying it out on the top of my head. At the same time, like Led Zeppelin as well. Like, I was listening a lot of Zeppelin, Sabbath.
So
as you can see, I got my entire rack here. So
yeah.
just like
yeah, I saw that. So so your dad taught you like the first chord. So when did it click you that you actually want to be like a guitarist and you want to have a band? Sort of, when did that click?
I think looking at my brother, because growing up, my brother was playing in a band. He played in a death metal band, and yeah, I mean, ever since I was young, every time I would just see him going for gigs, going for jamming, and I just I wanted to do the same. And sometimes I go watch him play, and it's just a whole different experience, when listening to music and watching a band play. In fact, I think the first time I ever saw a band play was my brother's band, and I was very young, and I knew that I wanted to do the same thing. I want to be like him, to play in a band, and then play shows. So I think it had a lot to do with my brother, So yeah, I mean, I know you're expecting like some or Dave Mustaine made me want to play in a band and everything. Yeah, I mean he did, but I think it all rooted down to my brother. Watching him do all this, and I just like look every day. So even though he played like totally different music, okay, not totally, but he was playing death black metal kind of style. So yeah, kind of different.
So these days that your brother was playing, how was the metal scene back in Singapore?
I remember it to be a lot more people, like a lot more people. And I remember watching, because the early, I think probably 2006, 2007, they would record their shows as well. So I remember watching one of my brother's show. It was packed, like really packed, which is something very rare to see happening these days in Singapore. And yeah, I mean, I think back then you didn't care whether they know you or not. You just go to the show and watch the band, whether they like you or not, just to check you out. So, I mean, I wasn't really part of the old scene. My brother is more. So I can't really tell the difference. And yeah, so I really, really can't tell the difference much now. Probably have to ask the older guys. Because, the older guys have been through both scenes, like I think
Right.
I remember saying you did podcast with Subash, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So like people like him from the old scene and they're still playing now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the best person to ask is him because he's seen both sides.
Yeah. So, is Dezaster your first band that you formed, or you had a band before that?
Oh, I had many bands before that, many failed attempts. So I think the very first time I formed the band was in school, and it was all over the place. We were playing like songs from Cinderella to Black Sabbath to Metallica to Megadeth, So it was a really like a jumble up, There was no like focus, but it was all just for fun. I mean, we were all kids at that point in time. What do we know? We just wanted to play songs that we like, right?
Right.
And then like I said, I'm a big Sabbath fan, so there was one opportunity that I read an ad, and it said Black Sabbath tribute band. So I figured, okay, why not? I wasn't doing anything at that point in time, so I joined the band, and thinking that it was gonna be a full-on Sabbath set list kind of thing, because why would I want to do that, right? Because I fucking love it. Sorry. And then we had a gig, and then yeah, they told me, okay, here's the set list, blah blah blah. You're gonna play Symptom of the Universe, you're gonna play NIB, you're gonna play Snowblind, and oh, by the way, we're gonna play one new original song. It's just like, huh, what original song, And then they said, oh yeah, we wrote a song and we want to play it live. And then I was just like, it didn't click with me because all I wanted to do was just play in a Sabbath tribute band,
Right.
not in an original band. So they were like trying to push it to becoming an original doom metal band, which I like doom, but I didn't see myself playing it in the long run. So I played 2 shows with them, but technically 1.5, because the second show, halfway, like I think the bass player got drunk and he fell off the stage or something, and he just toppled his entire bass amp down. I'm just like, okay, that's the end of the show. So and then yeah, after that show I just quit. you know and that's okay. For that band, the drummer was he had the same mindset as me. All he wanted to do was just play in a Sabbath tribute band. So when I left the band, he left as well,
Right.
and he was actually the very first drummer for Dezaster. So when I formed the band, I wanted to play more heavier stuff, and so did he. You know, um, yeah, but he lasted maybe 5 shows with us, the first 5 shows, and I think Raimy's first show with us was that drummer's last show. Yeah, so yeah, that's how. I mean, I played in hard rock bands as well. I played in pub bands.
Right.
I used to play in pubs with my brother, like just do acoustic as well. But we were doing like blues, like Hendrix and stuff like that. And yeah, but Dezaster has always been the main goal for me. When I was a kid. Like now looking back, I always wanted to form a band like what I have right now. So I'm actually very, very happy. And especially to be able to find like-minded musicians like me, to be able to work together I think it's very important, and I'm very, very happy about it. Like even before Denise and Kim with Ezekiel and Darren, it was great because everybody was focused and everyone was good at their art. There wasn't anybody trying to overtake somebody, that kind of thing. Like when we recorded the EP, like Ezekiel was doing his thing on the drums, which I think most importantly it fit the music. So he did a great job. Darren as well. Darren did a great job. I don't know, you've never seen Ezekiel and Darren with us, right?
No.
Yeah. So Darren now he's playing with Opposition Party, the
Oh,
bass
okay.
player. Yeah. So I mean, they did a freaking awesome job, and I was very very pleased with them. But of course, sadly, things went differently, and we got Denise and Kim in, and they brought it to a whole different level. You know, like the thing about it was because me, I think because like over the years, me and Raimy, very we were acclimatized to the way Ezekiel and Darren was playing. So when we got into Denise and Kim, we had to adjust ourselves because they were much more technical. Like Denise, like the beats that Denise comes up with, right? It kind of encourages me and Raimi to do more stuff. I don't know how to explain it. It's like actually it just brought the level higher. And yeah, and I'm actually very very happy, and I think I forgot what the word is. The word is at the tip of my tongue, but I'm very fortunate to be playing with all these musicians, past and present.
So Brandon, how did you met Raimi?
Oh, we met in school. We was in a polytechnic, Nanyang Polytechnic, and then it was my first year, and he was his graduating year. So usually I'll go to school, and I'm usually like alone, be walking around, and I'll see this guy in a leather jacket, and uh, I think he was wearing a Star Wars T-shirt or something like that. But he had a leather jacket on, and sometimes he would have his denim cut.
Right.
Man, this guy looks like my kind of people. But I never really had the opportunity to go and like say hi or introduce myself. So one day I think was like I went for lunch outside, and then he was at the bus stop with his friend, and he was in a Megadeth So Far So Good So What T-shirt.
Right.
And I was looking, and I was like, hey, I know his T-shirt. So I walked, and I was smoking as well, and so was he. And I think I was wearing a Death Leprosy T-shirt, a long sleeve one. So I think the T-shirt caught his eye as well. So he was like looking at me, I was like looking at him, and just like went like hey, and it was like hey, and that was it, just like hey. And then I think 2 weeks later or something, we bumped into each other at Cine Leisure Orchard, and that was when we talked lah. It was like hey, I know you from school and so on. And it was very funny because I think we exchanged contacts and on Facebook, okay, and then um, he contacted me, I think, or I messaged him, and it was like, "Hey, nice to see you," and so on and so forth. And then I think my profile picture was a picture of me and Dave Mustaine, so I think that was the starting conversation point.
Right.
Then I think he went off to the army, and was basically when he went MIA for a while until I had to find a new guitar player. I remember seeing him uploading a video of himself playing. I forgot, was it Poison Was the Cure or Tornado of Souls, the solo part for it. And I was just thinking like, wow, this guy can play, So let me try and contact him. And I have no idea until why. I mean, up to this day, I have no idea why he agreed to it. I mean, if it was me, I was in like halfway in the army and whatever. And he was in like he was a cadet, he was an officer cadet at that point of time. So it was quite tiring, for that one. So but he still agreed to play. So I was like, okay, let's just check it out. And he nailed it, and ever since then he's been in the band. Yeah.
So Brandon, so you write most of the lyrics, right, of Dezaster?
Yeah. All the lyrics.
Right. So I have this one, your first EP, which with who are the members? Darren and who the other one?
And Ezekiel.
Yeah. So one of the songs I really like here is "Live to Suffer and Suffer to Live."
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that's a very political song. I think it was more about being proud to be from the country. Because at that point in time, I think there were a lot of how do I put it? I'm trying to find a good way to put this, but basically, there are a lot of people coming to the country at that point of time, and I think I think I was probably 20 years old at that time, or 21, and then just like everybody else, I was getting angry, so I wrote that lyrically.
Yeah. Yeah, you had four songs. You had Rot Away, and then Hypocrite,
Yeah,
and Stand Alone.
yeah. Hypocrite was about the injustice of I don't know if you heard about the City Harvest whole incident. It's about basically the pastor fucking ripping off everybody and taking the money and so on and so forth, right? So that what Hypocrite was about. It's about him.
Right.
Yeah. Which I think all around the world, there's going to be one or two assholes like that who will use religion to con your ass and everything. So that's pretty much about it. And then the title track itself, Stand Alone, or just basically standing up for yourself, which is self-explanatory. Like not letting like social media or what other people's opinion matter. It shouldn't matter at all. The only thing that matters is you yourself and what you think about yourself. So that was the song. That's what the song is about. The fight against shit.
It's actually a very good thing because you mentioned social media, because right now it's so freaking negative, right? Social media is all about I don't know, like friends arguing about shit, and then it's like I don't know, it's some people just seems to be just living for the sake of like Facebook or
Yeah, exactly, which is why I try to stay off Facebook as much. Like if you realize, like, I'm not really that active on social media.
right.
I think in fact the entire band is not very active on social media, which is kind of ironic considering that we play in a band and we should be updating like the band page or whatever, but we are not. Which is kind of like the downside for us. We are not very outgoing and so on and so forth. I think good and bad but we all our thoughts and feelings, I guess, we put into the music, and not by words. Yeah, which is, some would say good, some would say bad. Like if you go to like our Facebook page and everything, you see like the last update will be like fucking months ago.
Yeah,
And then sometimes we will sit down and then we will have a picture or what, and then we're like, okay, let's make a post. So we'll upload the picture, we'll type it out, and then after we finish typing out, just like, nah, cancel. So I think we need to learn how to be more outgoing on social media.
But I notice actually generally like compared to like Filipino bands and I think Singaporean, I saw this is just sort of my observation that Singaporean bands doesn't seem to be posting a lot on social media, right? Unlike the Filipino bands, for example, they would post a lot.
Oh, really? I mean, for me, I couldn't really tell the difference because like I said, I don't really spend much time on social media
Right.
to see to compare. But I think generally, I think Singaporean bands okay lah. I mean, I think they still do update regularly sometimes. I know I know of a Singaporean band who's constantly updating their stuff, which is good. But I also know of bands who just stay quiet and all of a sudden just come out and be like, hey, we have a new album.
Right.
So I mean, it depends on the band members itself, how they want to do it. Whether they want to keep it suspense or just be like, hey, surprise, new album. So I think it really depends. There's no right or there's no wrong in managing your band.
One more thing I noticed with Dezaster is that you guys don't perform like, of course, before COVID, you were not performing like every weekend or like every show, right? You were very selective. Can you tell me about why that decision?
Okay, well, from before when we used to play more regularly, we figured that playing in Singapore, you're playing because playing metal, you're always playing, not a lot of people, it's not very commercialized, see? So the people who are coming to your show are the people that like you and like your music, And if you're gonna watch a band every month, hear the same song every month, the feeling is gonna die down. So we wanted to make it a point to play lesser shows, but with more impact. So it becomes more like, yeah, given like a situation, if let's say you want to watch band A and then you cannot make it, or you just go like, okay, I'll give this show a miss because I know they're going to be playing next month again.
Right.
Whereas for band B, which is basically us, if I miss this show, I have no idea when I'll be able to see them again. Maybe sometime, but not like forever lah. But it's gonna be a few months till I can see them again. So there's more impact on that, I feel. Right.
So how did you discover these guys? How did you met Kim and Dennis?
Oh well, it was during the period of I think it was 2017, and then basically we were having problems with me and Raimy were having problems with continuing the band because we didn't want to go through, because at that point in time Darren wanted to go to the UK, and I think it was fair enough for Izzy to be able to, because he has a family and everything. So obviously family comes first, and we didn't want to get in the way of that. And I think me and Raimy we were just too tired and to go out and find new members. So we figured that at that point in time we wanted to like silently just stop playing, just disband. So I actually formed it was supposed to be a cover band, a hard rock cover band with Dennis and Kim. And Raimy was playing with his friends as well. So I remember jamming with Dennis and Kim. We were playing like Zeppelin, we were playing GNR stuff. And then one of the jams, we went through our entire list of songs that we wanted to cover. And we still had studio time. So we figured like, okay, why not we just fuck around a bit, right? And then we started jamming like, I think it was Whiplash. We were playing Whiplash, and then we were playing Tornado of Souls, all unplanned. And they could play, I was like, wow, I was very impressed. So I think I was at a point of moment where that spur of the moment kind of jam to these kind of songs where really got my mind clicking. So I remember texting Raimy and I said like, hey, I think we found ourselves a new drummer and a new bass player. And I think on that same night, Raimy came down to the studio, and then he met both of them for the first time. And then I think we were hanging out and then we were drinking or something like that. And I remember like it was pretty late. We went out to like 2 a.m. or something like that. We were just drinking, and I remember like looking around and like, everybody can click. Everybody seems to be okay with each other. So I think like a month later, we popped the question, more or less, like, would you want to try playing with us and so on and so forth. So the funny thing is like Kim knew that we asked Kim first to join to play bass, and then we didn't tell Denise anything, but we went to jam. We told Denise like, this is just like a random jam, we'll play like, it was all like metal stuff, you're playing like stuff from Megadeth, Metallica, and Maiden, and she had no idea. So she played and she nailed it, and she played and just like, this is awesome. And then I think a week later, then we told Denise like, actually that was like a secret audition for you, because she had no idea. But yeah, and then she agreed to play, and thank God for that. So technically, Denise and Kim, they kind of saved the band. They saved me and Raimy in a way. Because I think if it weren't for them, I think we'll probably just end it there after the EP. We will not have continued, because it's so hard to find like-minded musicians these days, because most musicians would want to play like top 40s, and basically they don't want to play metal. So it's very, and it came in a package 2 for 1, so it's good.
So was it like you guys have to adjust that now you have a female member in the band?
But yeah, initially we had to adjust, or rather we thought we had to adjust, because like I mean, you know me and Raimy, we have foul mouths, so we would just sometimes we would say like, it's not the kind of language you would speak in front of a lady, right?
Right.
And then so we had to adjust to that. But turns out Denise was pretty much just like us. There was no. I mean, throughout, we spent like months jamming together and hanging out and everything. We realized that we can just be ourselves. You know, there wasn't any like, oh, because you're a female, we have to act certain way. And sometimes I think she's even more guy than us. She's more, like the way she would talk and everything. And yeah, we never really had that um, female male, or because you're a female we can't do this, or because you're a female we can't say this, and so on and so forth. So I
Right.
think that helped a lot. Yeah, plus I mean we never really cared whether she was a female in the first place also. Like what was important to us was that she could play, you know and to a certain degree I think she's better than some of the male drummers out there. Some, because she's a fucking good drummer. That's for sure. I think a lot of people can agree with me on that. And of course, like, mm, there are times where, let me see, let's say like before we came to Manila, we were worried at that point in time, like, okay, we're gonna have a share a room or something, But this was before, you telling us that we each get our own room and everything. So like, okay, how's this gonna work? The three of us gonna bunk in one room and then have our own room or something like that. But yeah, we got individual rooms. But I think like looking back now, even if we had to share, I think it would just be normal. Because I think we are like family now. We are very, very close. We spend more time drinking and hanging out than playing music, to be honest. Like we will spend like 2 hours jamming and then 6 hours drinking and hanging out. So I think that's like the most important thing for us right now is like the camaraderie.
Yeah, and then there's only very few female metal artists in Singapore, right? Very few, right? Denise is one of the few, right?
Yeah, this is one of the few. Like let's see. Is this female fronted band? They play death metal called Ethereal. Should check
Yeah,
them out as well. Female,
that's vocalist is female, right? Ethereal.
yes, yeah. And then there's this other band called Kudigra with a female vocalist as well. I remember there's another band with a female drummer, uh, but the name just slipped my mind. Let's see who else plays. I mean, in terms of like metal and original bands, at least. Who else?
I remember there was also like a hijab wearing band, right? They played
Sorry?
one of the shows. Uh, the ladies were wearing hijabs.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
which show was it?
There was one show in Decline. I remember the band. I don't remember the name, but it was like all female. I'm not sure if it is Indonesian or it's Singaporean.
They were playing metal.
Yeah, yeah, they
Was
play
it?
metal.
I can't remember. Yeah. I think I will remember a band. I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, basically there are a few lah, but the names just slipped my mind. Like the ones that I just mentioned was the one that I top of my head that I can remember.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
the drummers are. I mean, of course, you will find vocalists, but drummers would be very rare, right? Because it's very rare
Yeah.
females would go and
Drummers are
play.
very rare. There's one more band with a female bass player, but the name just slipped my mind. So just slip. So I just slipped. Okay.
It's fine. So,
Yeah,
so,
I can't remember.
so you got Kim and Denise, and then how much of effort, how long did it take for you to come and decide to put out a record with
For
them?
No Surrender.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
sorry.
It's actually quite fast because we didn't spend a lot of time working on the EP songs. What we did was we went in and we straight away did the new, because all the songs was already written prior. The only song that was written from scratch from the No Surrender album was Dreams of Succubus. Yes, that was the only song that was written from scratch.
Right.
And I mean, the other songs, the riffs were, some parts of the songs, like the riffs and everything, were written prior, like with before they even joined the band. So when they joined, we pretty much just started right away. We just went to studio and then just started on the new songs. And I remember we did like we got into the studio, we did Rot Away. We played Rot Away and then we did a new song, you know. And then the next jam we would come in and then we will do like Hypocrite and then we'll start another song and so on and so forth. Right. So it was all very, very fast and it helped a lot because Denise, she had a drum kit at home, you know. Like right now she has like e-drums, but back then she had like a fucking drum kit, you know. I have no idea how, in the HDB flat. So she had it and she could practice like every day.
Right.
So it made the process faster, a lot more faster. So it's like we would work on a song and then by the time the next jam, everything will be nailed down already. So it was all very, very fast. It took about maybe, let's see, 6 months, 5, 6 months to get everything, all the songs down and ready. And then we started recording in November 2018. And everything was completed, including vocals, by January. Yeah. That's about it. That's about the duration of it.
Actually, when I listened, I mean, I really love that album No Surrender because I can sort of listen from start to end. I was even listening it today. I was having a walk and then I was putting it in Spotify and then it's like went on repeat. I just want to ask you about this song, The Soul Bearer, which I think one of my favorite from the album. What's the inspiration behind that?
Sorry?
What's the inspiration behind that song?
Well, lyrically, it's about what do you call it? A hangman. It's basically a guy in death row who's facing death sentence to be hanged, and it's basically a view, like a point of view of this guy who's gonna die. You know, which is why like, I think the first few lines was casted away, tossed aside, or something like that. I can't remember. You know, I haven't jammed the song for a very long time, and yeah, it's basically casted away into fucking prison, and nobody remembering you, and a point of view of you walking in through, you know, what do they call it, death row, walking there, and then a priest will be there to bless you because it's basically sending you off to your death. And then and then you pull the rope and you hang and you die. So that's what the song is about capital punishment.
Yeah, I really like that you had like an intro, right? Like an announcement. Somebody's like doing an announcement.
Oh yeah. That was Kim.
Which
that was Kim's voice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because it felt,
so actually,
you know, when I listen to that song, that part, it feels like this song is like could possibly be on a Megadeth like Endgame, because it's kind of like that sort of a feeling, right?
yeah. I know what you mean by that.
Yeah.
I think when we decided to do that, we never had that thought, you know, to like do it like Megadeth, you know, because we just wanted a story in a way, you know. So when we got Kim to record those lines, he was supposed to be a judge, you know, giving the guy his sentence. That's why you hear the jail sound and everything. And I remember, I think in the middle of the song as well, Kim goes like, what did he say? He said something, shut up, and something, he's supposed to be a warden, you know. telling the guy, you have no rights and you shut the fuck up, basically. Yeah, and yeah, it's just basically a story to tell. Like actually, the entire album, all these effects and extra intros and everything, we did it for ourselves from scratch. I think like in Dreams of Succubus, there was at the end of the song, there's a gong. It was just me standing in front of the fucking mic and just going boom, We were recording our effects ourselves, and it was a lot of fun doing that. So like same for Soul Barrel, everything was done from scratch with Kim.
Yeah, it's really nice. And then one more song that I kind of didn't expect on the on the album, but it's kind of like makes sense to be there, like Spiritual Realm. Like it's it's very slow, and
Yeah.
I feel that when I listen to that, I feel I get a vibe of Welcome to the Sanitarium kind of vibe.
Really? Well, actually, the one I was going for more of like, cause like the earlier heavy metal albums, there was always like all of a sudden it'll be like an acoustic piece to like calm things down, and then it kicks off again. It's like look at Blizzard of Oz, and then there's D, Randy Rhoads playing D, and then you look at even like Morbid Angel, the second album, Blessed the Sick, and then there's what's that song called? What's it called? Shit, I forgot. But basically, it's an acoustic piece as well, and that's what I was going for, to calm things down and then just kick off again, Yeah, I don't know if I'll still do it again. I don't know if we will still do it again for the second album, but that was what I was going for that one.
Yeah, but you are right, because it gives that sort of early heavy metal album vibe, right? Like like Kill 'Em All, or even like they had some.
yeah, exactly. So like, and I like eerie sounding stuff, be it whether it's guitars or effects and everything. Like, so you never hear something happy on it. That's basically it.
So I want to talk about this artwork. I know that this was done by the guy from Wormrot, right?
Yes, Arif drew that.
Arif,
the vocalist from Wormrot. Yeah. So he has his own you can check it out on Instagram and Facebook, thing called Rodworks, where he does art, and he you if you play in a band or if you need any artwork, even for t-shirts or whatever, you can just contact him. Like, he does really, really good artworks. And he likes, I remember he was telling us he likes drawing this kind of like comicish kind of art, which is what the album is, if you look at the artwork. Because I think before that, a lot of the grind bands and the extreme bands were asking him to draw as well. So how extreme metal bands, they have a certain style in artworks. The more I would say, I'm not an artist or anything, but what looks like is like a sketchy kind of style, whereas this is more like a comic book kind of feel. So he likes doing that a lot. So I guess he worked for us because that was what we wanted, and he did a very, very good job. I was very, very happy with it. He did it quite fast as well.
Yeah.
It's actually a continuation. So if like you open up, right, and then you open up the book, it's actually a landscape.
Right. Yeah, it's a nice.
It's one piece. Yeah. It's one entire picture. Yeah. Art.
Yeah. Brandon, I need to ask this now. Of course, your Dezaster is your own. You have your own style, your own sort of, the way you write songs and the themes and stuff. But there is a heavy influence of Megadeth, right? I don't know. It's probably one of the reasons that I sort of got drawn to Dezaster, because of probably that that's the reason. I know that you met Dave Mustaine a couple of times, right?
Yeah, twice. It was fun. It was a
Can
good
you tell me?
experience.
I know that there's a fun story. Can you tell me a little bit about meeting Dave Mustaine?
The first time I met him was 2011, I think. 2012. Yeah, it was 2012. They were on the 13th tour, and then they came to Singapore. And basically, the promoter who brought them in is one of my friends now. His name is JD. So I remember, I think I texted him or I called him or emailed him, was one of it. But basically, he told me where they were staying at. And the good thing about JD was that he wasn't like a business kind, you know. He wasn't like, oh, you pay me and then I'll let you meet him and stuff like that. Like, in fact, I think it was him who announced like the flight details and everything. I mean, not the flight details, but the flight landing times. So by the time the band arrived, there was a lot of people at the airport. It was cool. I think they enjoyed it. I remember like David Elson doing a video or something like that of the crowd in Singapore airport, Changi Airport. And then I didn't want to go down to the airport because, you know, there's going to be so many people, you know, your chances of meeting them is slimmer. And then I remember JD just telling me like, oh, they're staying here and here, come down, but keep your mouth shut. Basically, you know, it's like, okay. So I think Dave Mustaine arrived first in Singapore. So by the time I got to the hotel, he was already in his room. But I remember sitting down and I looked to my right, and then there was a big suitcase with a leather jacket on top. So I was thinking, is this Dave's? I could just steal it now, you know, but obviously I didn't. So I just waited and waited the first night. And then eventually the rest of the band came with the crew and everything. So I met the rest of the band first. So, and they were all very, very friendly. I remember standing there, and then this big, huge bus came. Everybody just got down the bus. And it was Chris Broderick, Sean Drover, and Ellison walking towards me.
Right.
So obviously I was like, you know, Ellison, you know, I mean, everybody would do the same, right? I mean, imagine like you had the three of them walking, nobody would go, oh, Chris Broderick, oh, Sean, nobody would. Everybody would just go like, hey, David Ellison, right? So obviously I went to him first and then got my picture. I think he fist bumped me first, and then I was like, can I get a picture? And then he was like, hang on, let us put our stuff first. So they went up, and then they came down, and then the security guard was standing around me. Like, I think they were like trying to block me. But I wasn't making any effort. Right. I was just standing there. And then Ellison like called me out. Because I was the only guy there. I was just one guy there. Right. So I got my pictures and everything. I remember asking them like, is Dave gonna come down? And then they said, no, he's already sleeping in the room, you know. Okay, fine. So I went back home. The next day I came back, and I remember walking towards the hotel, and then it was just nice, you know. I saw the entire band standing outside. I saw Mustaine with his hair down and everything, like standing outside. So obviously I ran. And then I think the security guard saw me, and he asked the band to go into the bus. I was like, fuck. So I remember standing in front of the door, but then Mustaine was talking to Ellison. So his side was facing me, but he didn't turn. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just go to his window, to his side of the bus. So I went to the side of the bus, and I'm thinking, should I knock? Because I know like he's kind of notorious to fuck people, right? So I was worried like knock him and then you just like flip me off or what. So I just waited there. And just before they were basically going off a sound check. So before the bus moved off, he turned and he saw me. And then I remember waving or something, and he just gave me a thumbs up or something like that. So I waited and waited and waited until they came back, and he saw me. He saw me and just walked straight into the lift. I was like, fuck, there goes my chance, right? But the rest of the band was still very friendly, you know. They all like remembered me, and it's like, hey. So I waited and waited, and then this guy came down, and then he tapped me on the shoulder, and he was like, Dave wanted me to pass you this. So he passed me his guitar pick. Because I think he used it in Taiwan or something like that. Right. And it was actually because like I think like his signature behind was smudged off by sweat or something like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh fuck, you know. But never mind lah. I mean, it's Mustaine sweat, right? Smudged off, and I kept it. And then the waiting game continued. And then eventually they had to go after the show, obviously. So they came down with fucking huge pack of security guards. This guy came right in front of me and just there was literally like one line of security guard in front of me, like maybe 4 or 5 guys standing there, which didn't make sense to me because I was just one guy. You know what the hell, right?
Yeah.
So standing there, and then Mustaine saw me, and then he smiled at me, and then I said like, "Can I get a picture?" And then he said, "You better hurry." So I was like, "Okay, that's a okay, right? It's a green light." So okay, so I went. So I moved forward, and then the security guard grabbed me by my collar and he just pulled me back like a dog. I just went, and then Mustaine saw it, and then Mustaine told the security guard, I said he better hurry. And then it's gonna okay, fine, sorry. So he went and took my picture, and yeah, that was it. That was the first time I met him. The second time was actually because of Sabrina. She won the meet and greet, so she decided to bring me along. It's very nice of her. And yeah, I remember walking in, and I told Dave like, I met you the last time in Singapore. I was the guy at the hotel. And so yeah, I remember you. And then give me a hug. That was nice. And then yeah, I got my picture. It was all very quick the second time. Like, you didn't really have much time to like really talk and converse. You couldn't even get anything signed, which was sad because I think I brought one vinyl and a picture of me and him from 2012 for him to sign, but you couldn't get anything signed. It was just like go and get your picture and get out. That's pretty much it. But I don't think it was their call. It was the production's call, I think, because it was all very last minute. So yeah, I guess it's just that's the story.
Yeah, because on the same tour, the 20, so that was 2012. The 13 album tour was on 2012, right? 13.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2012.
Yeah. So we
had met them a couple of times as well, right?
Yeah. So this promoter here, that I got a call. I got a message that can I call you from? So I gave my landline number, and then somebody from the production called me and said that we have a secret, so that the Megadeth is coming to the Philippines, and they're going to only choose 13 people for the meet and greet. So they didn't wanted to like sell that tickets. They just wanted to give it to the fans. So they just called the people they know. Like, so I said, of course I will. I would want to meet Dave Mustaine. So I was one of the 13 people of that tour actually.
I see. It's nice.
Yeah.
So what was it like?
Sorry?
What was it like?
I mean, it's for me, like, I never thought that I will even see Megadeth live like, growing back in Sri Lanka. I never thought like I would be able to meet Dave Mustaine, and then Dave told me that you're the first Sri Lankan I've ever met. Like, yeah. And then also 2017, we also we met them in 2017 with Kiko and the new lineup for the Dystopia tour. So, but that was just like the photo was like a group photo, and it took like only 30. It's like you just go in front of them, the cameraman just do this, and then you go move away. I wasn't even sure whether the photo was like there was a photo or not, because it was like so quick. But the photo turned out very nice. Actually, it came out very.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah.
I think a few bands, right? I remember seeing like you met Slayer as well, right?
Yeah.
I remember you telling us the story of meeting Slayer. It was the same thing. It was a group photo, correct?
It was a group photo, and then I was actually I was shaking hands, all of them. Actually, Slayer had 2 shows here. So they had one in 2017 where they performed just their show, and then the 2019 was a festival, right? So in 2017, we went to the sound check. They have a pre-show sound check. You can go to the sound check, and then I was able to like shake hands with Araya, and then Gary Holt and everyone. I had even like videos of that, and then I shoot the whole show, like almost like all the show in my phone, and then end of the show I lost my phone.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I don't have any single video photo from that show.
No, that's such a waste.
Yeah,
But
it's
I guess like in a way, having all these memories, right, in your head is the best.
yeah, but luckily in 2019 I was able to meet them again, so it was okay. But I was kind of afraid to like shake hands of Kerry King. I don't know. It's like, and that's that time that like we took a picture and then we have to move up. So I was like, Tom. It was Paul Bosta first, and then Kerry King, Tom, and then Gary Holt. I was kind of scared. Like I just said like this, and then I moved because I don't know. I felt that he was like pissed off because there were so many people, right? Like there's hundreds of people, and then they're putting like 10 people at every time. But it's anyway, it was really after that. I actually stayed in the same hotel with Slayer, but the next day, our plan was like, if we were able to, we were not sure we will get a photo with them or meet and greet. So we were planning like next day we can probably catch them when they're leaving. But after I took the photo with them, next day I didn't want to like waste time anymore because I met them already, right? So I took a picture with them, which would probably not happen again. So and the funny thing, I actually found this Paul Bosta, he hides his drumsticks like every show before the show he will hide it. So
really, I don't.
Yeah,
you hide it where now?
He hide it somewhere in the venue. So on the 2019 festival, I found it actually. I was waiting for the Instagram post because he normally posts it like some photo of the area. I saw it and then I didn't tell anybody. I just went in. I was going like under the stadium and then all these staircases. I was looking for it and I found it.
It was under a staircase.
Yeah. So Brandon, you remember that? I think I contacted you on Facebook, right, regarding the show in Manila.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I remember you. I think it was you told me the first time you were interested was what's the show? Red Lantern, Metal United.
Metal United.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time I spoke to you like, in person.
Yes.
And I remember you were telling me like you were interested to bring the band to Philippines and everything, which was great because like usually we there's been many people who will come up to us and say, oh, we want to bring you here, we want to bring you there, and then they'll just keep quiet about it. After that there'll be no follow-ups.
Right.
So initially when you first told us that you're interested to bring us to Philippines, at a show, I figured like, okay, cool, but I figured like, okay, it'll just be another one of those guys who's gonna just saying it for the sake of it, right? But I think, yeah, you were the only ones that kept your word and contacted us through Facebook. And I remember seeing the message from you. I was like, wow, this guy actually really wants to bring us. So I was like happy about it. Yeah, because it was our first time going overseas, so we don't know what to expect. Everything was all very new to us.
Right.
Traveling with our gear and everything, we were actually very, very worried about our gear because, like I said, we've never traveled with our gear before. So it was a very, very cool experience, and we were glad that it was with you, because you took care of us very, very well, and I mean we cannot say thank you enough, So, like thank you once again. Yeah, it was a great show, and people there are very, very friendly. Some of them like I think they added us on Facebook and everything, so we see like how they will share memes. It's funny, because everybody is like friends, we never really consider anybody to be fans, because we're not that big of a band to have fans, so we are very, very open.
But I feel that most of the people who came to that gig end up going home as Dezaster fans.
That's good. Friends. We have more
Yeah.
friends now.
So
That's good. I mean,
yeah,
I like the show a lot. We had a lot of fun. The people there, like I said, they are super friendly, and it's a very nice feeling, when they come up to you and they tell you like they like the music and everything, because that's all what we are doing for. It's just for the music. Not nothing else. It's just the music, which is why I think we are very, very open to people when they come to talk to us about our music. Like, you can tell us anything about our music, and we actually just listen and take your advice and everything. Because like I said, we wouldn't consider ourselves a big of a band to have fans. Everyone is a friend, you know. Yeah.
so what was your first reaction when you landed in the Philippines? Like when you went out of the airport?
I think it'd be very crowded. There's a lot of people, and then we were remember with our gears and everything, and we were trying to find the berth that we were supposed to meet you at, and then we're just kind of like looking out, like looking out for you, looking out for Joey,
Yeah.
and finally we found you. And I remember the traffic jam you were in. It was like a 2-hour jam or something, right?
Right.
And I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, thank God we don't have to go to the toilet or anything right now. Because you're just like stuck in the van, right, for like 2 hours. And then, yeah. And then I remember the dinner we had, the first dinner.
Yeah.
Like, what was it called? It was crispy pata or something like that, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It was good stuff. And I think it's the first time, yeah, you had sick. Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
And how's everybody? How's Joey? How's Benny?
Uh, yeah, everyone is good, and the show is still going on, but they're doing it from home now because of the COVID thing. So
Yeah.
we haven't got together in a long time. I haven't seen them in a long time. Uh, yeah, we were sort of planning few more shows this year, but because of the COVID
COVID.
thing, so nothing really
Yeah.
pushed through anymore. So let's.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what's
well,
your,
hopefully sorry?
yeah, Brandon? So
Hopefully we
what?
get to weekend.
No, I was asking what's the plan for Dezaster for the rest of the year and then 2021?
Well, for this year, I think we're just going to focus on the new album. So hopefully we will be able to record early next year, probably. Sometime early or mid. But hopefully by June, basically, we will be able to start recording already. And then release it maybe end of the year. I mean, it all depends, because we never really like create a timeline for ourselves, like a timetable for ourselves, where we say like, okay, well, this month we have to release and this month we have to release. So we're just pretty much just going naturally, just going with the flow. So yeah, that's about it lah. And we had a few shows that were cancelled this year. In fact, it was actually after we got back from Philippines, we had um, a few show offers overseas. So I think like Philippines helped to open up the gates for us.
Yeah.
For opportunities elsewhere. And one of it was supposed to be Taiwan, and because they announced it, and but because of COVID they had to postpone. It was a festival, so we were looking forward to play that. So probably, I don't know, postpone to next year, I guess. I don't know. There was no firm date of the when the show is going to happen again. So nothing is firm, but hopefully we still get to play.
So what's your message to your friends, Dezaster friends, not fans, right?
Friend, I mean, I mean, thank you all for your support. It really means a lot. to all four of us actually, because we put a lot of hard work and dedication into this, and playing metal is you're not gonna earn from it. It's all based on passion. It's not about popularity or how much fans you have or whatever. For us, it's just playing music that we love, and it's really really nice to know that people appreciate the stuff that we put out. So thank you very much for that, and yeah, I hope to return to Philippines someday again, maybe after the next album, to promote it. And if we do, I look forward to seeing everybody again. Yeah.
Anybody you want to shout out to?
Shout out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Basically, anyone who's watching this video, I just thank you for tuning in, and you should check out the rest of Channa Channa Channa. All his other podcasts, all his other videos. I saw you did with what's that? Anubis, the girl from Crypta. Yeah, I saw that you did a video with them. So he's actually got quite a you have quite a good number of people doing the podcast with you. So it's all pretty interesting. Yeah. It's nice to watch.
Yeah, there's a lot of metal actually, because I get a lot of people from I didn't even expect this, because I started this as part because of the COVID, because I don't go to the shows anymore, right? So but I got a very good response. I was contacted by bands from the Europe and US, and then like Australia, and I started it just interviewing like my friends, but now it's like becoming a lot more than that.
Yeah, like now you're on Spotify and Apple Music as well, right?
Right.
It's good. I mean, you gotta start from somewhere, right?
Yeah, we can watch this again after many years, right? And
Yeah,
it will be
memory.
So Brandon, thanks for joining the podcast. Really enjoyed talking to you, and then when you were here, we had a very good time in Manila. So hope to see you again. I'm just waiting, if I can go back to Singapore. I don't know when, but hopefully early.
Yeah, if you do come back, let us know. You should hang out and grab something to eat or
yeah. I really enjoyed, because remember, even before you coming to Manila, I spent time with you guys in Singapore. We had lunch, and really enjoyed that time. So we are looking forward for the music, Brandon. So take care, and all the best.
Thank you for having me, man. Cheers.
Thank you, Brandon. Thanks.
Never more